Call this meeting to order. Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, 7:15 p.m. City of Somerton regular council meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Vice Mayor, can you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Gerardo Anaya.
Present.
Vice Mayor Juan Castillo.
Present.
Councilmember Jesus Roldan.
Present.
Councilmember Luis Galindo.
Present.
Councilmember Martha Garcia.
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando.
Present.
Have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on, call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
Manny Valenzuela.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Vice Mayor. Just here to announce that La Michoacana Plus in Somerton will be opening the doors tomorrow at 11 a.m. Like to cordially invite everybody here, all the attendees as well, of course, City of Somerton. And our official grand opening will be October 23rd. We're ready to rock and roll. There was no need for me to wait anymore. People are pulling on my door and we're ready to go. So hope to see everybody there and we're excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
What time?
What time?
11 a.m. tomorrow.
No, on October 23rd.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
I know you guys have the mayor.
Yeah, we're gonna stop there for a.
Yeah, we'll have a nice treat. Keep going.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll go ahead.
Louis Carlos, Town Chief of City of Somerton. The reason I'm up here is I would like to thank the mayor and council for all your help with the salaries and everything we did. I would like to inform you guys that we are now fully staffed. And I would like to introduce some of the new members to our city, if you permit me.
Yes.
Yes. First, we have Robert Stanford. He's a paramedic. He was originally with Rural Metro, but now he came with us. Also, we have Isaiah Quesada, firefighter EMT, and also Mark Holyfield, firefighter paramedic. Mr. Holyfield has over 20 years of experience, so he's going to be a valuable asset with our city. We also have 4 other people that were not part of, were not able to come in today. But we have Tabitha Barfield, also paramedic, which was one position that we severely needed. Nathaniel Hernandez, firefighter EMT. Michael Frazier, also firefighter EMT, and Francisco Lugo. That's all I have.
Thank you. Welcome. We're excited. That was council priority this year that we were having a lot of vacancies in fire, and we're excited. And thank you for coming to the City of Somerton. Anybody else from the public wishing to address council? Okay, we're going to move on to consent agenda. Approval of minutes for council meeting of August 17, 2021 and September 7, 2021, and check register for August 2021. Does any member of council want to remove an item from consent agenda from discussion? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda as stated.
So motion by Vice Mayor Castillo.
Second.
Second by Councilman Galindo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have 2 proclamations. We have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We have a member or someone from the public wishing to say a few words before I read the proclamation?
We have Tori from Amberley's Place, but she would want to speak in
Yeah, that's
for the other proclamation. Yes.
whereas in 2021, the American Cancer Society estimates 5,850 women and men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in Arizona, and 900 will die from the disease. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a worldwide annual campaign in October involving thousands of organizations to highlight the importance of breast cancer awareness, education, and research. And whereas, according to the Centers of Disease Control, Disease and Prevention, breast cancer is the most common cancer among women, and whereas increasing the public's knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer, diagnosis and treatment can save lives, and whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an opportunity to unite all citizens in the city of Somerton and surrounding community to prevent breast cancer deaths throughout increased education and regular screening. And whereas this October, as we raise, display pink ribbons or pink clothing to raise awareness, we recognize breast cancer survivors, those currently battling the disease, friends and families of a diagnosed patient, and applaud the efforts of our medical professionals and researchers working to find a cure. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Naya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we don't have a rep, right? It's also proclaimed Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we do have a representative, right?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be with you this evening and to take a few minutes of your time. On behalf of the staff at Amberley's Place, in particular, Carla Garcia, who is the advocate here in Somerton, who's housed at your police department, which we greatly appreciate that collaboration with you all. We also have the Somerton Domestic Violence Task Force, the South County Domestic Violence Task Force, Safe House, and Yuma County Victim Rights Committee represented tonight. Domestic violence is an issue that affects all of our communities, and we're fortunate behind me tonight to have a whole ton of people that are working diligently to raise awareness of this issue. In Yuma County alone this year, we've already had a domestic violence homicide where a child lost his life. It was a brutal homicide. In addition to that, in 2020, we had 1,596 primary and secondary victims of domestic violence in Yuma County. It's a lot. That's a staggering number. It should make us all kind of sit up a little straighter and recognize that these are cases that happen in our neighborhoods, regardless of what neighborhood we live in. Sometimes I hear people tell me, oh yeah, that only happens on the north end, or that only happens down there or over there, but it doesn't just happen down there over there. It happens in my neighborhood and yours. And so our goal tonight with this proclamation is to just have everybody become a little bit more aware of this issue and do everything that we can. If we see it, report it, say something. Don't turn a blind eye to that, because it's in those instances that those go from something where we could intervene and stop before it's a homicide. And as somebody who's been doing this for a really, really, really long time and responding to every neighborhood in this county from Dateland to the border. I can tell you that if I could go the rest of my career and never respond to another homicide or another attempted homicide, or to squash out the fact that 1 in 4 children in DCS custody right now are there in primary, and one of the primary reasons is that they're because they've borne witness to a household where they've had domestic violence. So it's a very prevalent issue. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of all these folks here for your attention to this and for your time tonight. And please let us know what we can do to continue to strengthen and fortify that collaboration, because we certainly appreciate it and it is greatly needed. So thank you. And thanks to Chief Juarez for housing us.
Thank you. Whereas domestic violence is an issue affecting Arizonans in all communities, regardless of age, gender, economic status, race, religion, nationality, or educational background. And whereas 42.6% of women and 33.4% of men experience intimate partner physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking in Arizona. And whereas 304,000 Arizona women have experienced stalking by an intimate partner, and whereas 30% of children exposed to intimate partner violence had their exposure before the age of 2, and an additional 26% had their first exposure between the ages of 2 and 7, and whereas the city of Somerton continues to experience high volumes of domestic violence cases, and whereas victims of domestic violence are more likely to experience long-term mental and physical health concerns, including a higher risk of chronic disease, substance abuse, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety. And whereas challenges related to the COVID-19 global pandemic, including stressors such as unemployment, reduced income, limited resources, and social support, may increase risk factors for family violence. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an important opportunity to enhance education, prevention, and intervention of efforts around domestic violence and support organizations and individuals who provide advocacy efforts, services, and assistance to victims. Now, therefore, I, Gerardo Naya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I want to invite the council and we can take a picture with the proclamation.
Thank you. Gracias.
If you notice, our water tower is lit purple to raise awareness.
There's one final announcement on this item. Go ahead.
I'm Gabriela Sanchez from Catholic Community Services. So I started the Somerton Task Force as part of a family member that was killed in Somerton for a homicide. So I am so happy that Chief Juarez and Mayor and everyone believed in the cause, and all my partners, everyone. So we're gonna have our first domestic violence and homicide vigil on the 14th October in Municipal Park, Ramada 2, and we're gonna have a walk and remembrance of everyone that lost their life. So please join us if you can. Thank you.
October 14th, it's a Thursday. I don't know what time. Se me mandaron un email, but it's a Thursday. I think it's at 7.
Item number 1, their presentations from Bird Scooters Company to start the scooter program in Somerton. This is Mr. Councilman Galindo's vision right here.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council members. Yes, Mike Butler is in the Zoom right now. I'm going to invite Mike to start the conversation, but just before that, there is an attachment as part of the presentation. I don't know, you can hear me, Mike? Can you hear me, Mike?
I can, yes. Can everyone hear me?
I'm going to be using the presentation that we have in the attachments.
Okay. Would it be better for me to share my screen and present, or do you just want to scroll through as I'm talking?
No, we can scroll down. Just let us know, like for example, you go page 1, and then we can move to page 2.
Sounds good.
Right? Okay, Mike.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for letting me speak today. My name is Mike Butler. I've been working with Hector just briefly on potentially getting a transportation program, something similar that we've done in Yuma, but obviously set up in Somerton. So looking at the next slide here, if you're not too familiar with our business, I think it's important to understand why we decided to start this business and kind of why we do what we do, but it really is to improve our communities, and it's to improve the lives of people that live there. That's likely the same type of goal for a lot of cities out there. So there's no surprise why those two kind of coincide. And we do that, next slide, please. We do that by being a mobility and a transportation company. Our focus, if you've seen the service, obviously is done in shared electric vehicles and in shared stand-up scooters, and really helping people get to where they want to go and helping people get to where they need to go. Next slide, please. We started this in 2017, just a couple of years ago. Obviously saw a ton of success early on. We are widely seen as the most trusted provider of this in the entire world. We've enjoyed over 100 million rides, and that spans about 5 continents, 25 countries, and about 400 cities, just shy of 400 cities now have leaned on Bird to provide transportation for their citizens. And these are really cities big and small. So I think the general perception is that this typically only works for places like Phoenix and Austin and Los Angeles, and it's really not the case. I think cities the size of Somerton are really our bread and butter. City between that 10,000 to even 50,000 population, that's really where we see the service really taking off. And these are rural cities, these are bedroom communities, these are beach towns, these are tourist destinations. It really is just the whole spectrum. Now, how it works as a user, if you're sitting there on your phone, it's pretty simple. All you're doing is downloading our application. You're finding a vehicle in the street. You're signing our agreement. You're adding your payment information, and you're taking a couple videos and tutorials to make sure you know what you're doing, once you're on the road, and then you're off and running the same way you are a bicycle. So these are only ridden in the streets, similar to a bicycle. They're deployed on the sidewalk, but used in the streets. Pricing is also really simple. So to unlock the vehicle is $1. There's also a per minute fee of about 30 cents, which averages at about $6 to $7 per ride. We also have a ton of other pricing options for those that are enrolled in government assistance programs, or veterans, or senior citizens. Healthcare workers get to ride for free. So we made this service to make sure that it was for everyone and that it's completely democratized. We also have a huge focus on reducing clutter and keeping things really tidy. I think that's largely the number one concern and question that I get from individuals that are listening and council members and members of the staff, is making sure that this is properly integrated into the community. And so moving from left to right, we're going to do a lot of things here when it comes to educating people to make sure that they know how to ride. That's done through emails and videos and in-app messaging. We're going to have a local presence. So this is someone who's local to Somerton, who knows the community, who can be very responsive when it comes to answering questions or moving vehicles that need to be moved. A lot of cities will even make space for this. So not asking the city to make any sort of investment here, but if they do want to stencil in some parking zones, that's completely up to the city. We see a lot of municipalities will do that. And then lastly, we're going to give access to the city, kind of access to a lot of data that otherwise would be pretty difficult to obtain. And that really revolves around where people are picking them up, where they're dropping them off, what businesses are they going to, what are their movement patterns. And all of this can be very valuable to the city, and what you do with it is completely up to you. You can actually skip this one and go on to the next, please. Now, how we do this and how we enter into all of our markets, big and small, the vehicles, I think it's important to know the vehicles are all equipped with GPS. So if you're sitting there, on your phone, that same GPS that you have on your phone is what we have in the vehicles. And so we can program them to do some pretty fancy things, to where if they enter a certain quadrant or a neighborhood or a zone, that vehicle can slow down to a certain speed, that vehicle can actually be turned off. And so those are all things that we do in really complex markets like New York City or Chicago or Rome, Italy. Those are all cities that require technology to be very precise, and we do the exact same thing in Somerton. Now that's the vehicle. Now how the vehicles are being operated and how they're being managed is the same way that we do it in Yuma, actually. We would use a local partner, a local business, an entrepreneur, whoever that was, to actually run the entirety of the operations. So there's no cost to be involved here. This person is sharing the revenue with Bird. So if you've taken a ride up in Yuma, you've actually indirectly paid that local business. And this is a person with resources and intangibles and really the ability to run this operationally heavy business. So they'll be there to deploy, to reposition units throughout the day, service them, charge them, repair them. And because they know the market obviously far better than we do, they can essentially run the business better than we can. So this person is hugely critical to this entire operation. And then lastly, our proposal is really simple. It's virtually identical to what we've done just north of you guys. There's no investment required here. You'll have access to a dedicated point person to really ensure that everything is running smoothly. We'll give you access to that dashboard as well. The number of vehicles can be something that we talk about. That's often a moving target. But the approval documentation is really just a low lift, really lightweight memo of understanding that spells out what we are going to do when we enter into Somerton. This can be reviewed by the city attorney, but there's really little skin in the game when it comes to the city. So oftentimes, considering there's no budget, and this really is a no-brainer. So I'll pause there. I'll open it up for some questions.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Concerns?
Mayor, this is Councilman Villalpando.
Go ahead, Councilman.
I have a question. Where do they plan to park all these scooters?
So they'll be parked on the sidewalks. Really, not necessarily on the throughway, but hopefully in the furniture zone. And what will help identify those locations. So we'll deploy in ideal spots where we feel like they are not impeding foot traffic in any way. But the rider, at the end of the day, the benefit is that they can take this to the front door of the establishment to where they're going, or whatever it is they're going. So that's kind of the drawback, is that you do have individuals that are going to unfortunately park improperly. But that's where we come in and we reposition and rebalance them all day, every day.
So essentially, you need city right of way in order to be able to park these scooters.
Yeah, and the MOU spells that out.
Okay, so my question is, staff, is there a fee that we're charging for the use of this right of way?
No, there isn't for the birds. It's more of a level of service for our community.
Okay, because we are charging right-of-way fees for utilities. So if we're going to be charging fees, then to be honest with you, I mean, they're a business just like A.R.S, just like Time Warner and all these other companies that use our city right-of-way. So you have to be very, very careful with providing one company free access to right-of-way and not the others.
Councilman Galindo.
I don't know how they do it in other cities, but it's all over the United States. And I feel this is a quality of life for a community. And I've been talking to some of the students that attend here at AWC, and they said they're excited to see this because sometimes they don't have a car to commute from their homes to here. So this will be beneficial. And if you get to so technical about fees, about every car that park on city right away, should we be charging should we put a meter for them parking? That's the same? I feel that's the same. So I don't know why we're getting so technical on this.
Because car owners aren't necessarily in business and profiting from this. This is a business, and my concern is not necessarily with how the other cities are doing it, but I don't want A.R.S and these other utility companies come in and say, hey, you know what, you're not charging them for right of way, so why are you charging me for right of way?
I just feel that like the level of service as far as having transportation, the diverse transportation, similar to what we're paying YCAT to have that service to our residents. Now, you know, we go to other cities, now Yuma, and they're using this mode of transportation, and at least I don't see it as a utility company. It's more of a level of service for our residents and just a diverse form of transportation. And if it works and the residents are using it, I'm fine. And of course, if it doesn't work, then Birdwood's going to remove the scooters from her. But I don't know, I want to hear from the rest of council what they think.
Yeah, I think, you know, looking at this, I mean, it's really not going to cost the city anything. This is just something that's going to, just a service for those residents who might not have, you know, transportation. This would be an option for them that they could use. So I mean, I don't see an issue with having this here for our residents. You know, I mean, from what I understand from the presentation, I mean, it's just really just pending city approval. And if at some point down the road we see that it's not it's causing more, let's say, harm or whatever, that these birds are not adequately parked, then that's something that we can discuss and kind of try to come up with a solution, or just go away with it. I mean, I don't think it really ties us up. I mean, I'm fair to give it a shot and see how it plays out.
I piggyback on what Mayor and Councilmember Galindo said. We see it more as a level of service to our residents, either youth, adults, or whoever wants to use this. I think at the same, if other cities are doing it, I know Councilmember Galindo wanted it before Yuma got it, but and you see it, kids everywhere you go to San Diego, you go Yuma, there's always, someone riding one of these. At the same time, if Councilmember Castillo said if it's not working, then we can just go back. We're not paying anything for them, and I think it's bringing, more of a service to our tenants here in our community.
How fast do they go? Just out of curiosity.
25 miles per hour.
They go 15.
Oh, 15.
5. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna take it to County 19.
You go downhill, you weigh 280 pounds. It takes you to 5. Councilwoman Garcia.
I agree. I think we could give it an opportunity and see how it goes. Again, like all of you said, I think it's a service for the community, and sometimes students that do attend AWC night classes don't have that transportation available, and I think this is a good start. If it's an issue, I think we could come back and bring it back and discuss.
Councilman, this question is for Mike. Have you ever encountered a problem like this, or a question or situation in the other cities? Mike.
Yeah. What question specifically, or what concern?
About being used in the right of way and being treated as another utility, as far as like a gas company or electric company.
Yeah.
Not necessarily being treated as a utility, but paying as utility companies and those that use city right away. That's my concern. That we're setting a precedent, and I mean that's more of a question for legal versus is there anything that can come back and haunt us down the road. I'm not comparing them to a utility by no means.
Yeah. I think it's a really fair question. How you treat your right of way might differ from how other cities do it. In my experience, and I've worked with dozens and dozens of similar cities, there's probably a very small percentage that will require that we receive a right of way permit. Most of them either would go this MOU route. Some of them might go a more sophisticated operating agreement that does spell out that if you execute this agreement, you are allowing this private business to use the city right of way. So I think it just depends on how you want to spin it. We have had cities, as Miguel was saying, we have had cities that have done this, but we've had far more that have not.
Mayor, if I may, Jorge Lozano, City Attorney, each city is unique in its requirements. There are some cities that don't even allow these type of vehicles on the sidewalks, and we're a little bit more progressive. That being said, I think an MOU can be tailored specifically for Bird. We have franchise agreements with APS. We have the agreements with Spectrum. I mean, we also have an encroachment permit that we can incorporate into the MOU, such that I think it could be beneficial for both parties. So we'll take a good stab at the agreement and make sure that what gets presented is the best option for the city of Somerton.
Vice Mayor.
No,
you were doing this.
No, he answered my question. I mean, I was going to ask that question.
Any other questions or comments?
And Hector does have this MOU in an email. I'm happy to send it off to the attorney as well, and we can go back and forth on whatever makes the most sense. But we love for this to be approved. Obviously, it can't be done tonight, but on the next meeting and get going as soon as possible. I mean, this program has actually been, and I candidly am surprised, it's been extremely successful in Yuma, and I can only expect the same results here.
Good ride for it.
And then, like I said, like it was mentioned, we want to be progressive and modern, and we want to be a smart city. That's what we've been talking. So I think this adds to that. And, for the first Somerton High School football game, we're all going to go on the scooters. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Moving on to old business. Discussion of possible action to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2021. A presentation to acknowledge the donation from Cocopa Tribe and Cocopa Police Department of 2 Chevrolet Tahoes.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Today, we would like to acknowledge the Cocopa Tribe and Cocopa Police Department for donating 2 Tahoes to us, 2010 Tahoes. These vehicles will be used to replace aged equipment that we have. If we can, do I have control of this, or could we open up the fire department right there in the center? I want to show you pictures of the vehicles that we will be replacing. One of them is going to be a 2003 Trailblazer that we got from the police impound that nobody had claimed. We tried to freshen up as we could, but considering that it was an unknown vehicle, it was never serviced correctly, you could tell by the previous owner. I mean, it's given us nothing but issues to the point that now we have it parked. Doors were not properly closed where we would be driving, the rear hatch would open, the side doors were open. So we just put that to the side. The other vehicle was actually donated by Cocopa several years ago, and it's here you go. Thank you. It's a 2002 Crown Vic. Now this vehicle, the mileage is not true. It says 100 and something thousand miles, but it's actually on its second motor. So it's actually run its life. It's actually gonna cost more to repair it than to try to buy a new one. So in order for us to be a little more progressive and try to keep the costs down for the city, we reached out to Cocopa Police Department because we knew that they were going to be replacing some of their fleet vehicles, and they donated to us those 2 Tahoes. And the cool part about these Tahoes is that they're 2010s. The mileage is fairly low, but they're actually equipped with the lighting package. So the actual Kelly Blue Book value for a vehicle like this is around $12,000 for the condition it's in. But that lighting package can go anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 depending where you go. So in essence, we got approximately a $50,000 donation from the Cocopa Tribe for us to use as a vehicles to replace for our fire inspector who was actually driving that Crown Vic that I showed you. And today I would like to recognize Cocopa Police Department for their help to us, and Lieutenant McKinley's here in their representation. I'd like to thank you. Thank you, sir, for all your help and continued relationship with us. Mayor and Council, do you have any questions for us?
No, just want to thank for this partnership. We have this partnership with the Cocopa Fire Department, and so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now it's old business. Discussion and possible action to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2021-008, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Somerton, amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described herein as parcel number 195-33-024, a 76.11 acre parcel, more or less, more particularly described on Exhibit A attached here to from R2 to R16 and open space to government district.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Staff was here at the previous meeting presenting the rezoning request for the high school land. So this ordinance was presented for the first time at the previous meeting. This is the second reading by title only. And I would like to, if you have any questions for me, if not, I would like to ask for a motion for the second reading.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve second reading by title only of ordinance number 2021-008.
Second.
So motion by Vice Mayor Castillo, second by Councilman Villalpando. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It was Councilmember Roldan.
We look alike.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance number 2021-008, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Somerton, Arizona, amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described herein as a Cesar parcel number 195-33-024, a 76.11 acre parcel, more or less, and more particularly described on Exhibit A attached here to from R2, R16, and open space to government district.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-008?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Galindo.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Man, this is Vice Mayor's agenda. It was going to be a short meeting. Got to travel to Tucson. Okay, moving on to new business. Item number 1, discussion and possible action to approve the request for proposals from Huber for the purchase of Huber multi-rake bar system to the wastewater treatment plant bar screen and washer award in the amount of $149,263.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. We contracted Pace Engineering to design and assist on the preparation for this request for proposal. The design has been completed by Pace, and we advertised the request for proposal on the Yuma Daily Sun. Currently, we receive a total of 5 proposals from the following vendors: Huber, Vulcan, Headworks, Duperron, and Custers. We and our consultant Pace Engineering analyzed the proposals, and the 2 top candidates were selected by the per technical memorandum submitted by our consultant. The top 2 candidates were Huber and Duperron. We also visited 6 wastewater treatment plants where these 2 manufacturers currently have their equipment in operation. We went to 2 treatment plants in Tucson, 1 in Casa Grande, 1 in Chandler, and 2 in Glendale. After analyzing both products with our consultant and also with our wastewater operators and wastewater supervisor, we decided to select Huber proposal. The financial impact on this project, it is currently in our wastewater CIP for $250,000. This amount is to cover the purchase of this equipment plus the installation. Mayor and Council, before we go with the recommendation, do you have any question?
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, Mayor, I have one.
Go ahead, Councilman Villalpando.
What was the price for the second one, Sam?
It was more expensive Councilmember Villalpando. I will give you that in a moment. $197,612.
Okay, so you guys went with the best offer then?
That is no, with the best option as the two mayor or the top two candidates.
Okay, because you did a request for proposal, not an RFQ.
No, we do the request for proposal including a price. Those proposals also submitted a cost for their equipment.
Okay, so this is just the price, but overall, who had the best deal? That's what I'm trying to find out.
Huber.
Huber, okay.
That is correct.
That includes parts and labor.
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get to because you guys put wording in there that says analyze. I mean, there's not much to analyze if they're all bidding on the same job with the same product.
Councilmember Villalpando, is not the same product. It's not specifically the same product. Each manufacturer has their own product. It varies a little bit from one of the other. That's why we requested the request for proposals to analyze each equipment. And also we require a price that it needs to be submitted. So that's why we analyze those 6 proposals and we choose the best for our city. We also have the opportunity to visit those plants at the end when we decided to go with the top 2. We went and checked those equipments.
So you guys actually check for the best one that fits the RFP that you guys did then?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah, because I'm just trying to clarify this for the record, because when you say analyze, I mean, you got to compare it to the RFP and make sure that whatever equipment you guys go with is the closest or meets the RFP, not necessarily subjective. Oh, well, I like this one better type thing.
You are correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Definitely, we analyze per the RFP. You are correct.
Got a request for future items such as this to include the price of the other options, at least the top 3. So,
sure, we will, Mayor.
Have you? One of the things that we've all seen is the lead times on this type of technology. Was that part of also the analysis that you perform?
That is correct, Mayor. It is part of the on the technical memorandum. It shows everything that we requested and analyzed, and one of the items to check or to review is the time for the delivery of this equipment, and that's one of the reasons why at the end Huber and Dupern was the best 2 options, because they provide the best equipment for us overall.
What's the lead time on this equipment?
It's going to be 90 days.
90 days. Okay. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
It's a motion by Councilman Roldan. Second by Councilwoman Garcia. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2021-016, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Somerton, authorizing and directing that fee title and other interest in certain real property located at 356 North State Avenue be acquired by the city of Somerton by dedication, donation, purchase, exchange, or under the power of eminent domain as a matter of public necessity, and approving settlement of any pending condemnation litigation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jorge Lozano, City Attorney. City staff, the Public Works Department has identified property located at 356 North State Avenue as necessary to build a stormwater retention basin and upgrade any needed streets, streetlights, curbs, sidewalks, gutters, or ADA compliant ramps that will become beneficial to the city of Somerton. And this property is necessary to preserve city of Somerton property, as well as to preserve property belonging to private citizens in the Pioneer District corridor. An appraisal of the property has been obtained. Staff needs approval of a resolution to start the purchasing process or obtain through condemnation. For the appraisal, the cost of the land is $53,000. The land is owned by Housing America Corporation. We've already reached out to their CEO and their board president, and they have agreed to sell. I just want to make clear that the resolution states language regarding condemnation. That's as a last resort, but we do intend to purchase it, and that's also included in the resolution. So,
any questions?
Do you have the map on that? Can you pull down the map here? That is on the corner of Adams and State, just around the corner from City Hall. And our director is here from Public Works, and he thinks that's the best option for us.
Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Councilman Villalpando, go ahead.
I know there's already pre-existing storm drain pipe along State Avenue. How much would it be in order to tap into what's already pre-existing storm drain pipe?
Councilman Villalpando, it is we don't have that option. The invert on State and Spring, that's the pipe that we have on that intersection, which is basically here in the corner of City Hall. And because of the invert, we cannot tie in this pipe. Unfortunately, we look into several options. We also have another pipe on Union and Spring. We also have another pipe on Union, on George and Union. And we look into those options as well. And we definitely, because of the invert that we have, we cannot tie into that system, to those systems.
So is the owner in agreement, everything? The issues that happened initially, have they been resolved?
Mayor, we do have an email letter stating that they've agreed to the purchase price already. So I think that issue has gone away.
And I just want to request again, when something of this, acquire land or whatever, please even let council know before we find out from the neighbor that we're trying to acquire their property. Yeah. We don't like surprises. So. Go ahead, Councilman Villalpando.
Mayor, was this item budgeted? I mean, it's the only reason that I'm hesitant is now we're going to add another retention basin, and now we're going to have to do more maintenance. As it is, some of our retention basins, even in the districts, are pretty lacking of services. You know, I live in a district where I have a retention basin, and I could tell you right now that they've gone out there and done maintenance one time since longer than the fiscal year, but let's be generous and say since the fiscal year started back in July. One time they've gone out there and done any type of maintenance. So the reason that I was asking if they could connect to these storm drain pipes, in the long run, there's less maintenance. We don't spend the $50,000. Sure, we might have to spend $100 or maybe a little bit more, but you also have to look at the long-term maintenance. I mean, city staff obviously doesn't have time to adequately take care of all these retention basins. So now we might be considering subbing out the maintenance on these retention basins. Yes, they might say, hey, let's do it, put rock on there, but there still has to be some form of maintenance sooner or later. key example is the retention basins that were water friendly or desert landscaping that are done on Bingham. You know, rock has slid off the slopes. We still haven't gone up there and done some type of maintenance in order to put that rock back where it was. You know, so again, you know, that's the reason that I'm hesitant as far as adding any additional retention basins.
So was this the last resort that we couldn't connect to the pipe? Then were other options analyzed?
Correct, Mayor. There's a lot of resort. We look into those existing inverts, like I mentioned, on Union and Spring, on George and Union, and those are the only options that we have. We don't have a storm drain system along Somerton Avenue. The nearest storm basin is on those particular corners, and because of the invert that we have, it is impossible to reach or to tie into those pipes.
So what is your plan as far as landscaping on it?
Because of this size of this lot size is too small, we are going to go deep and enclose that basin.
Okay.
And yes, it is part of my CIP, the process of this land.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Councilman Galindo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action to approve a publication of notice of intent to establish or increase municipal fees, including any and all assessments to the current fee schedule for various city departments consisting of public works, community development, economic development, city clerk, police, fire, finance, and parks and recreation.
Mayor and Council, as we heard from most of the department heads on our work study session, at least at this point, we only wanted the letter of intent to publish and move forward to listen from our community. We'll still have more information from Parks and Rec to Council and their commission as well, if there's any changes to it. But at least we want to hear from the public before actually it takes effect. We're looking at if Mayor and Council approve it to take effect January 1st of 2022.
Any questions or comments? No.
And this is just, the motion will be just to publish, right?
Yes.
Because we still have some other pending, right? We didn't cover everything in our work session.
Yeah, the last ones was there's one from Public Works, which was the special pickup on the 6-yard bins from 25 to 110. Right now, that was a big one, just because the reason is that I think right now landfill is charging $32 for the 1 ton. In a 6 yards, there's a possibility of 2 tons in there, but we're charging 27 and they're charging 32.
Then bring it with Parks and Rec and next meeting, and we can always reduce it, right?
Correct. Yes. No, right now it's just for public information. Yes.
Yeah, we'll discuss it. So is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilwoman Garcia.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Summary of current events.
Mayor, COVID-19 remains at a level 2 of concern. I just received those results and it's been stable for the last couple of weeks. In addition, we do have support from NCHP for another vaccination clinic every Thursday for the first doses. Every Thursday starting this Thursday, the 7th at the Cultural Center. We did have an excellent turnout on our UTV festivities this Saturday. Brisa did an excellent job, as well as the committee putting it together. We did have many volunteers from Councilman Miguel Villalpando through NCHP, Councilwoman Garcia, and we did have, Jorge actually did help as well for a little bit, from Ms. Sendejas, Somerton School Board. And I cannot forget my wife, because he tells me if I don't say anything, she'll get upset. But one of the committee members is here, Mr. Manuel, Mr. Manny. So we had lots and lots of people from Yuma. There was a couple of folks from San Diego, El Centro, and I believe Phoenix, but it was a great turnout. Chief De Anda.
Vice Mayor and Council, continuing with the thing with the COVID, we've been doing the rapid tests at the station for the public and the city workers, other people. We've been running about 15 to 20 tests a week. And if you average it out over all the last couple of weeks that I've informed the infection rate, it's been about 1 or 2 per week have been infected. Just yesterday, we had 4 people test in a row and 2 of them had COVID. So one of the things we have seen is the symptoms seem to be a lot milder than they were 2 months ago. And so that's a good thing. All the people that have had mild symptoms have one thing in common. They all have vaccines. And so it's proving that the vaccines are very effective. So for those that don't have vaccines, encourage them to get them. Of course, we came out with an article in the paper and Facebook on the pink. And we encourage everyone to put on pink this month, something. And when people ask, why do you have pink, to tell them, this is a reminder to get your breast examined. It's one of the most preventable forms of cancer in the United States. And yet, 40-some thousand people are dying every year because they're not getting examined. They're not getting ahead of it. Just want to make people aware of that. And once again, of course, Chief Carlos said so, and all the department's grateful for all the work you've done for us to get a complete staff now. It's I think it's hard for a council to really appreciate what it's like to walk in the station, know you have everybody you need to be there. It's a really, really good feeling. So thank you so much. And we did have an accident yesterday. I don't know who the teens were, the 2 young people from Somerton, but a very, very bad rollover on the top of the mesa. And the young man got flown out to Phoenix. So we continue to have some pretty impactful accidents here in the area. That's all I have. Thank you.
Carmen, Community Development.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. A couple of reminders. We have the Development Impact Fees work session that is already scheduled for October 19 at 6 p.m. We're going to have the first public hearing also during the regular meeting the same day at 7 p.m. Ben Griffin from Tischler By, our consulting firm, is going to be here in person attending both meetings. The impact fees these times are only for public safety, wastewater, and street facilities. So we have that already initiated the adoption process. Also, staff has initiated the adoption process for the text amendment, creating the proposed R15 zoning district and other proposed changes to the current development design guidelines in the subdivision and zoning ordinance. The first work session, citizen review, is scheduled for with the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 18th. And the request for recommendation for the Planning and Zoning Commission will be at a special meeting the following Monday on October 25th, and finally presented to Council for final approval in November. So those are the reminders that I have. Thank you.
Mr. Mesa, Parks and Rec Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members. Just want to mention that the bid opportunity for the skate park is up. It was posted and came out on Yuma Daily Sun this Sunday, October 3rd. It's also up on our city website since Friday. And we did advise Yuma contractors yesterday on October 4th of this opportunity. And we are going to continue to contact usual contractors that are interested in these type of projects. It's going to be an excellent project for the community. We're really excited, have it up and running, and the deadline is October 27th. We're giving it a 120-day completion period for the project. So it's going to be ready, hopefully, 3 months after that. Also, the Parks Division continues to coordinate the project for Centennial Park lighting. The intent is to have everything ready and project completed by December 1st for additional lighting. Also, youth soccer started yesterday, October 4th. It's looking very nice at Council Park, seeing more activity, more life over there, and it's going very well. And just whenever City Council wants to visit, it's going to be Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at Council Park, starting at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Sam Palacios, Public Works.
Here in Council, an update on our Cesar Chavez traffic signal project. Contractor finally completed pouring the pending concrete curb and gutter on Cesar Chavez between Spring Street and Main Street. And the asphalt pavement is scheduled for this Friday. So hopefully with that, it's gonna reach the project substantial completion by the end of this week. Traffic signal cabinet should arrive also this week. So hopefully maybe by next week or 2 weeks is going to be 100% completed. An update on the high school sewer lift station project. Contractor completed the installation of the PVC gravity line and started with the PVC force main line. And finally, the annual cleanup just started yesterday. So we're going to be really busy this month. Thank you.
Mr. Tapia, Economic Development.
Mayor and council members, just an update for the residents of Somerton, 3 businesses. We had the grand opening for the Asadero El Campa yesterday. So it's ready to go, and I invite the community to get some tacos. The taste was really good, the original. And as many mentioned, the Michoacana opening tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, so all the community invited to get up paletas and ice cream. And the upcoming businesses, Southway, we already had a building permits under review. Potentially will be open by the end of November or early December. So we'll have 3 more options for the residents of Somerton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Juarez.
Didn't mention Tempe this meeting. First time, no Tempe.
So good evening. Sorry, I'm trying to speak a little clearer here. So DV Awareness Month, we heard about it throughout the whole meeting. Our officers will be wearing the purple patches on the uniform to bring that awareness. We're also going to have some magnets on our patrol vehicles. So you'll be seeing that around. The UTV event went very well. We had 2 major incidents, not very significant. We're still following up on that. And then our hiring process for dispatchers is still underway and additional officers. The GAIN event for this Saturday at the Target parking lot, it brings local law enforcement together to promote some safety and neighborhood unity. So it runs October 9th from 5 to 8 p.m. We'll be there. Somerton will be represented. Thank you.
Finance, Rina Gallegos. Long time.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. I think for the next couple of weeks, I'll be working on the 2021 audit and also in closing the first quarter of the new fiscal year in order to prepare a presentation for you, I believe the first week of November. So we'll be working hard to make sure all that is up to date. We also have been doing a couple audits on our utility accounts to ensure that those are being properly, those are continued to be set up properly and the fees reflect the actual. So that's what we have going so far. Thank you.
HR, Mr. Lozano.
Mayor and Council, we'll continue to have a posting for the Economic Development Director position. We'll need some guidance as to when we think we can start the recruitment process or what type of involvement, or if there's a panelist that's interested from the City Council to sit there. And overall, we're fully staffed at the fire department. We're really proud of that. We're lacking a little bit in the fire department, but I think we're gonna, starting it hard there in that department. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, that concludes. Councilman Villalpando.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I just want to thank everybody that the UTV committee, there's too many of them to name, but they all did an awesome job with this UTV. Special thanks to Brisa and the rest of the other staff, Jessica. I know there was Rodney. Rodney was out there, and some of the other guys from Parks and Rec. I don't mean to forget their name, but they did an awesome job with preparations for this UTV event. Special thanks to our city manager, who was there all day along with his wife. Thanks to her too, and also to the staff at the senior center. They did an awesome job. They raised a decent amount for the seniors. Overall, it was a really good event with people like our city manager mentioned, as far as from Phoenix coming out here, which was pretty surprising.
Thank you, Councilwoman Garcia.
Just like Councilman Villalpando said, I think it was a very good turnout for being our, I guess, first big festival, block party, whatever you want to call it. Staff did an amazing job. Hiccups here and there like any other festival, but overall, I think it went very well. We have a date with the County Health Department for third doses. They provide Moderna for October 21st, so we'll get going with that registration and all that, and it'll be announced soon. I had a question on that little kiosk. Is that coming anytime soon for?
That's what we wanted to hear, Serena.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. I put that in my previous week's update, so I figured you were done hearing from that. But no, right now, actually, we're updating our statements to include a barcode so that customers can come in and just scan the statement and pull up all their information and just be able to get through the payment process. So we hope the barcodes will be updated next month, and we're going through the testing from one system to the other. So hopefully late November at the latest.
That's when they'll deliver as well?
Yep.
Okay. Well, and I had a question. I know that you guys as directors meet on a weekly basis, but do the different departments, I'm pretty sure some do, but does every department have maybe bi-weekly meetings with their staff as well?
Yes, they do.
They do, okay. I was just wondering. That's it for me, Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
No, I just want to comment that I heard a lot of great stuff about the UTV event. I wasn't able to attend, but I heard many great comments regarding that. So, just want to thank staff for all their hard work and everything. Excited that, we had that grand opening, for Campas yesterday. Looking forward to the Michoacanas grand opening as well. I think it's, I got messages saying that, hey, Somerton is growing, along with those comments that, hey, when's the grocery store coming? So, as positive as those comments were, I think that's still, I reassured that, hey, that's our top priority. I know we're trying, but the census didn't help out, but it's a good reminder of that. Hey, that's still a mission. and then, we're planning on getting it. So that's all I have right here.
Councilman Galindo.
No, I don't have anything. Just thank you, Hector and Jerry, whoever worked for the bird, and thank you, Miguel, for asking those questions, because sometimes we only look at we want this and for legal, and he's always looking for the best interest of the community.
Yeah. Councilman Roda.
I was reading the report that Jerry sent us, and it caught my eye that somebody paid $19,000 on a false advertisement or something like that. I got from Chief. Was that from the report? No. It says local business paid out over $19,000 on a false invoices to a company name. Yeah. Okay. It got my attention that business owner paid too much and don't get any. Yeah. And Parks and Rec, I was there on Friday for the kickball starting, and it's nice to see the parks, people doing sports again, also people practicing over here on Council Park. And also I didn't attend the UTV, but some of my employees did, and they said they were happy to start the block parties and all that again. So they're looking forward they'll meet this thing for November 6th. So I told them go to my kids. So they'll be doing that. So thank you for, whoever was involved, Jerry and your wife and Marta and whoever was involved, Councilman Villalpando for that. It's easy to say, yeah, I was there, but at the same time, it's tiring, it's time consuming, but you know what, at the end is rewarding to see all the people, there and enjoying basically, it's been a while since we had one. So I think people were excited to be out and be walking and doing out in our city. So thank you, guys.
And I also, want to thank staff of UTV and of course Jerry's wife too for volunteering.
Yeah, she got a lot of thanks today.
Yeah, and the committee, because I always feel, we've mentioned it when we've had the special events, that we always need a committee from the community, because that just adds, first of all, volunteers, but also it just brings that niche of the different. They have different networks, and I think it's evident, how this first year of this UTV event that we followed that model that we followed with the high school committee, and also with El Diablito, that if you have a committee, that city staff can do so much, but we also need to have members and certain stakeholders of the community always, and you can see this event. A lot of people didn't know what a UTV is, and now they know, and next year is going to be bigger. So again, thanks to staff and thanks to the committee. I'm not going to name names because I'm sure there's a lot. But here's one. I'm not going to name him, but point to him. No, that, yeah. And I know that they have been meeting for months and planning this, and it showed. It was organized and for the first year, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that the people involved can see, but to the public, everybody was happy, and it was really a great event. And again, it just shows Somerton and how we have the best events in the county, and I've heard it this week at work. We knew that Somerton always throw a good party, so that's always good, and it's safe too. So on following on Councilman Villalpando's on the retention basins, just going through the retention basins, there a lot of them can tell that haven't been maintained in months. And one of the things that I always say is that we outsource some of the work, and you can tell that hasn't been used. And if we ran out of money or whatever, council hasn't heard about it. And I'm not going to hold staff accountable when we don't provide the funds, but if we're providing it and we don't know, that's when I have concerns. So and so we got to do something about it, especially with those retention basins that are in certain districts that people are paying for it. There's a higher expectation there. When you're paying, you see it out of your tax bill. So when we budget and we and council's not aware that we think everything's going to be, held to a certain standard, and it's not, it's frustrating. So hopefully that's prioritized, because they're a mess. We had our forefronted meeting. We're going to have our mayor's bike ride on October 23rd. So I know Hector's going to do it, right? At least half, right? And Jerry. So hopefully, and Jorge is going to do it too. And ex-councilman Gonzalez said 3 weeks ago he was going to do it. So hopefully he's there. And so hopefully, Vice Mayor, you can make it. I also want to remind staff, is the first quarter, and we have, again, capital improvement projects that here it's going to be December real soon. So by that time, if we want to construct something, it should be awarded already, because, and it was I would say a struggle to get those funds approved in our budget. So the expectation is that those projects, those monies are spent by the end of the fiscal year. With that, we're going to adjourn into executive session. We're going to take a 5-minute break and then go into executive session. We have one item. It's discussion and consultation with the Somerton City Attorney in order to consider its position and instruct its attorney regarding contemplation, litigation, and all matters relating to requests for information by the Equal Opportunity Commission for former employee for A.R.S. 38431.03.